Lives changed, homes burned to the ground.
I grabbed our wedding album and a couple of framed pictures of the kids when they were babies.
Historic wildfires are destroying parts of northern Colorado.
We have team coverage as hundreds of firefighters work to get this under control.
Looking up the mountain now and the plumes of smoke and just very nervous.
And we'll show you who's helping the animals left behind and how you can get involved.
Plus, with Election Day 2 weeks away, our wildfires are getting the candidates' attention.
And an emotional Commerce City chief of police remembers the officer killed on the job Friday night. There are 9 major wildfires burning in Colorado right now, but tonight there is only one responsible for destroying or damaging more than 24 buildings in Boulder County.
We're talking about the Cowwood Fire, now the largest in Boulder County history. Fire crews did make some steady progress over the last 24 hours. It's 15% contained. Already has burned more than 8,700 acres.
And our team coverage tonight is focused on the people impacted by this fire and the people pitching in to help.
We begin with Ivan Rodriguez live in Boulder tonight at 5. Ivan?
And Shannon, good evening. As the sun begins to set, you can still see plumes of smoke behind me and parts of the ridge completely burned out. In the area I'm standing in, we've seen people with binoculars and cameras all wanting to get answers to see if their homes are safe. Nearly 250 fire personnel are working to contain the flames. Throughout the day, helicopters have also been making their rounds, supporting the crews on the ground. On Saturday, at least 26 structures were lost because of the fire. Officials say no more have been lost since Sunday. One man who has been living in the area for nearly 30 years says after so many wildfires and evacuations, it makes it hard to want to keep living here.
If God forbid I lose my house, would I rebuild? And I don't know the answer to that. If all the trees are gone and living in fear every year, every time there's a windstorm, and there's lots of wind up here.
The cause of this fire still remains under investigation. Just recently, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office in an update says they're not sure if they're going to be lifting any evacuations, so many people are still anxiously waiting to see if and when they can go back home. Live in Boulder County, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver7.
Still a very scary situation up there. Thank you, Ivan. And the wildfires are gaining attention on the campaign trail. Vice President Joe Biden said in a statement this afternoon, he stands with families in Colorado who have had their lives upended from the damage and the need to evacuate. He also called wildfires like these, quote, an unmistakable sign. We need to act now to avoid a future defined by mounting disasters brought on by climate change.
And Colorado Republican Senator Cory Gardner showing his support as well. He said today on Twitter that he will keep working to ensure firefighters and first responders have the resources they need. And our team coverage continues with Liz Gilardi at the Boulder County Fairgrounds. Liz, you found a lot of people ready to help these victims of the fire season.
Well, they did. And, you know, at one point there were more than 500 horses and other animals here at the fairgrounds. It was a massive effort to evacuate all of them, all made possible because people stepped up to help.
There it is. That's it.
With flames in the distance,
Wow.
a race to evacuate.
And once we got the details, we started looking at how we could help in the community. And we have many, many friends that were in the line of the fire traveling west to east.
Rabbit Mountain Equestrian Center put out the call to horse owners with trailers. Soon a team went out looking for people who needed help getting their animals to a safe place.
I've just started getting calls from horse friends in the area who needed help evacuating, so I hooked up my truck and drove over to Nighthawk Equestrian Center on Nelson Road. And we started taking horses from there.
They didn't hesitate, even though they could see the fire in the distance.
While doing that, I was also formulating our plan in case we did come under evacuation, because the northeast boundary for the mandatory evacuation was just 3/4 of a mile down here.
Thankfully, this equestrian center didn't have to evacuate, but now we're seeing the devastation from a fire that grew quickly throughout the weekend. People lost homes. The fire is still burning, but we've also heard from so many of you who want to help. The website for the Boulder County Office of Emergency Management has information about donating supplies and services. A community coming together, helping during this time of need, during an already difficult year.
Honestly, it's just kind of what we do. I mean, I wouldn't think twice about it.
It is an amazing moment when you take a deep breath and you go, oh my gosh, this is an unbelievable community we live in.
It really is an unbelievable community, and that's why Denver7 Gives has launched a new fund to help victims of this fire. To donate, you can head over to thedenverchannel.com and click on Denver7 Gives, and then look for the Help Colorado Wildfire Victims in the drop-down. We are working with community partners up and down the Front Range to ensure that every dollar raised is given to help Colorado families who have lost so much in these fires. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver7.
So many generous people. Liz, thanks. We're all hoping for the best here. And a reminder, we are live 24/7 on Denver7 News for your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Android device. And our coverage on these fires will continue there. We'll have any breaking updates all night long.
Our state reported more than 1,000 new cases of coronavirus today. The number of people hospitalized by the virus also at its highest point since Memorial Day. The overall positivity rate remains over 5%, meaning 1 out of every 20 people who gets tested actually has the virus. Our positivity rate was half that at some points over the summer. And because of those numbers, Colorado is one of 39 states reporting an increase in coronavirus cases over the past few weeks.
Other Midwestern states are faring, though, much worse than Colorado. In South Dakota and Iowa, more than a quarter of coronavirus tests are coming back positive right now. This pandemic is really hurting our renters here in Colorado. The state's eviction task force says as many as 360,000 Colorado families will spend half their income on rent by the end of the year, and that's double where we were pre-pandemic. This is according to a new report released last week. Economists say you should really only be spending about a quarter of your income on rent. The governor put an eviction moratorium in place through the end of the year, but this report indicates that many families are still hurting because they are taking on debt or cutting necessary expenses to make rent.
Skies are still pretty smoky across Colorado, but I have some good news in the extended forecast.
Plus, stimulus talks make progress on Capitol Hill, but COVID tests remain a hurdle.
And new details about the Commerce City police officer who lost his life in a Friday night crash.